I'm in Shenandoah National Park, and I'm pulled off on an old abandoned fire road. That this road heads down into Shanks Hollow. I'll show you when I do the map talk. Out here is US 211. I'm on the west side of the mountain. And I'm going to close up, oh there it is right there, the Gray Ghost. Going to close up the Gray Ghost. I'm going to start hiking down this this old road towards Shanks Hollow, a couple tenths of a mile, and then I'm going to look for another old road that climbs up here. This is Gravel Ridge, climbs up here on this ridge, and hopefully find the Beahm Family Cemetery. The elevation here is 1,440 feet. Two-tenths of a mile into my hike. I'm up to 1,500 feet. That's the way I came from. There's been quite a few trees blown down across this road, so I mean, their Park Service isn't keeping it clear at the moment. And I'm looking this way. I've been hiking north. Now I'm looking to the east for an old road. I think this is probably it. Doesn't look like it, but you see that erosion right there? I think that's caused by water coming down the ridge. This was probably the road here. So I'm going to head up this way to my next waypoint and see. I get up here a little ways, maybe it'll become more apparent. Three-tenths of a mile into my hike. Still climbing up Gravel Ridge here. This is the old road. Doesn't look like much. It must have been a dirt road because I don't see any evidence of any, reinforcing or anything. And there's lots of trees that have grown up in the ditch that was the road. Got about another 500 feet to my next waypoint up here. Let's see, I'm up to 1,580 feet. And I think the cemetery's up around 1,700. So, and it'll be off to the right here a little bit, I think. So we'll keep on climbing. Half mile into my hike, I'm up to 1,650 feet, and still following the road. That's where I'm headed. And I'll just do a quick 360. It's not that bad up here. It was kind of gnarly down near the main road, but up here, I'm not quite to the top of the ridge yet. Skyline Drive is over the ridge down that way. So, I mean, it's fairly clear up this way. That's the way I came from. Down there's the main road. And Shanks Hollow's down that way. And back around. So, I'm at my waypoint 1-2, so now I'm heading to 1-3. 6/10 of a mile into my hike. I'm up to 1,700 feet now. That's the way I'm headed, and it's getting ready to get real gnarly, really gnarly. So I might have to I might have to go wide or maybe even take a more direct route to where I think the cemetery is. We'll see how it is up here. That's the way I came from. Compare that. It's been clear sailing up to here. And now it's getting nasty. So gonna push on, but I might have to head off to the right here in this direction and go around some of this stuff. Eight-tenths of a mile into my hike. The elevation here is 1,740 feet. And here it is. I had to go through a ton of that gnarly stuff to get here. You kind of have to just find your own way. I was, like, for example, there's the road. I was trying to use the road, but look, if you just go over this way, it's easier, at least for a short section. So anyway, this is up on the top of Gravel Ridge. I'm going to refine my coordinates and get some still pictures and things. I see at least 3 engraved markers, and I see a couple of just simple field stones over there next to that big tree to the left of the big monuments. And so I'll get some pictures and refine the coordinates a little bit with my GPS. Okay, here's Benjamin Franklin Beahm, born October 21st, 1843, died November 10th, 1914. Josephine, his wife, born November 27th, 1849. No death date, so don't know if she's buried here or not. At rest. So he died in 1914. If she lived beyond like 1930 or 35 when the park was created, she's probably down off the mountain in a cemetery down the valley. And we got some bad lighting conditions here, but that says Mary A. Beahm, born April 25th, 1820, died August 22nd, 1903, and then there's an epitaph that I can't really read. So next to Mary is Jacob. It's really hard to read. I think it's Jacob M. Beahm. And I can't read the dates, but I think he's got an entry in Find a Grave. So if I find it there, I'll look it up and give you the dates. It's got a cross up at the top of his tombstone. And then both Jacob and Mary have footstones down there. There's Jacob's footstone and Mary's footstone down there. And these two are facing the east. And for some reason, Benjamin Beahm is facing this way, which is south. Not sure why they did that, but anyway, that's what they did. So here's Mary and Jacob Beahm. Here I'll do a 360 here, standing at the edge of the cemetery. There's Mary and Jacob. There's a few graves marked with field stones, no inscriptions. I tried to get some pictures of those. There's Benjamin Franklin Beahm. If you hear any road noise, that's US 211. Note to myself, I readjusted the GPS coordinates for the cemetery slightly. It was pretty close though. Man, it's only about 1/10 of a mile from here down to US 211, but I'm having a heck of a time finding a clear enough area to push through. I don't know. I don't want to go back the way I came because that was just as bad. I'm going to keep trying to weave my way through this stuff. One mile into my hike, I'm down to 1,620 feet. Over there is Skyline Drive, but I didn't get here the way I had planned. The cemetery's way up there on that on Gravel Ridge up there, and from up there I thought I was just going to head straight south for 1/10 of a mile and hit the road, but it was so overgrown I had to hike all this distance to the west. You'll see it on my GPS track. And now I'm down to the next fold in the mountain where the drainage goes under the road. So I'm gonna head over there and I'm gonna cross over 211, and over there nearby is where there used to be a homestead. So while I'm here, I'm gonna take a quick look over there, see if I see anything, if I can get down there. Just a little add-on to my last narration. Now that I'm standing down here and I'm looking back up, I can see that this is one of the old roads I was looking for. I'm approximately at my waypoint 1-6. I'll show you that when I do the map talk. So I'm standing at waypoint 16, and there's the road heading up that way. And it came down here, and from looking at LiDAR, I think it went straight over 211 probably wasn't here, and it just went straight through and then down the side of the mountain down there towards where I want to go look. Well, I'm about 200 feet away from where I think the homestead used to be down there. I don't really see anything. Getting down there is next to impossible from here. This is 211. That's heading down towards Luray. And look how steep the side is here where they did the grading. I mean, it's just crazy steep. You'd almost have to rappel to get down there. And then if you look down there, you'll see how it's overgrown pretty bad. So as much as I enjoy looking for that stuff, I think I'm gonna just skip this one. Well, we had a little owie there, and there's another owie over there. I just walked past it. And the reason I was looking over here is for the driveway. And I think that's the driveway right there. Came up here, came off the road here somewhere, came down there. Maybe you can see some of those rocks where they armored it up, the low side, they armored it up there. And then the driveway heads on down that way, which is the correct direction, down into that little hollow there where the homestead was. I'm going to mark this location and see how it corresponds to the old map, and I'll try and remember to point that out when I do my map talk. This is a map of today's hike. The quadrangle name is Thornton Gap, 1994. And the hike started out with two objectives. One was to find this Jacob Beahm Family Cemetery, and the second objective was to explore this track 162, which was owned by M.O. Bradley. In the end, I didn't explore this track. I just found the cemetery. This is U.S. Route 211. The top of the mountain is up this way. Down this way is the bottom of the mountain on the west side, heading towards Luray, Virginia. This red line you see here is the park boundary. Shenandoah has a very irregular boundary on account mostly of how the land was acquired. Anyway, coming down this side of the mountain, there's a turnoff right here where you can hike this road here. Is an old abandoned road that takes you down into Shanks Hollow, which is in this area down here. You can pull off here, and if you pull over so you're not blocking the road, you can find a spot to park there. I parked there, and then I hiked up this road to here, and then when I got to this area, I started looking to the right for an old abandoned road. I found that and then started climbing gravel ridge along that road, and here's one of my waypoints, 1-2, 1-3. When I got close to 1-4, it became extremely overgrown. You'll see in the video. So actually I ended up going more like this to the coordinates I had for the cemetery, and those coordinates turned out to be accurate. It's up here on the very top of this ridge line, and I got pictures of that stuff at the cemetery. And then originally I had planned to just come straight down to US 211, but this was so overgrown I couldn't do it. And I couldn't really go this way either, so I ended up kind of doing an angle down this way, like this. Just getting down here into this little valley any way I could. Then I crossed over 211 and started looking down here for any evidence of this homestead. Now, when they put this road in, the low side of 211 they did so much grading that the slope of this right here is like, I'd say at least 45 degrees. You'll see it in the video. It's too steep to really go up and down it without rappelling. So anyway, I looked around, and this is super overgrown here too, so I decided not to even bother going down there. Now, I'll show you on another map, the driveway to this place came in like this. So as I looped back when I got into this area, I looked for and I did find the driveway. You'll see that on my GPS track. And then just continued back to my car like this. And let me show you a couple other maps. This is a topo map dated 2011 that somebody marked up to show the location of the cemetery, which is that red dot right there. So if you take that red dot, if you pull up these maps using the Adobe PDF viewer, it's got a tool that an add-in tool that will give you the coordinates on these maps. So I got coordinates of that red dot, and that's basically where it was. The blue line shows the outline of the tract of land I was going to explore. Some of it is north of the road and some of it is south of the road down to about Pass Run, which is in through here. And then, so this was posted online. Here's a picture from, I guess, from 2011. There's also a few more pictures of the headstones. There's Mary Beahm. Now, I couldn't really read that one. When I was there, the light was back behind here, so it made it almost impossible to read this, but you can read that one pretty good in this photo. There's Benjamin Franklin Beahm. And then there's Jacob Beahm. And I'll show you one more map. This is Stony Man 1929. And I'll just point out, this Beahm family, they were a very prominent family during this period of time. This whole area was referred to as Beahm, Virginia. And they had a school, a post office, and at least 2 general stores. One of the general stores had a gas station and a lunchroom. Now the cemetery is there. I put that on there along this ridge. And this was the homestead that I was looking for. And the double dotted line is the driveway that I told you about. This was a real short hike, was 1.5 miles with an ascent of 299 feet. And that was the hike for today.